Welcome along to Nailtopia, Inside with the Insiders. I'm Rachel. In this podcast, we're going to talk to some of the nail industry's biggest and brightest. But I want to get to know the real them. I want to know their real stories. So come with me as we take a peek behind the curtain. So today we're talking to another one of my really good friends from the nail industry, Victoria Taylor. Victoria is an educator and an award-winning nail tech. Victoria, tell us all about yourself.
Hi. Well, you already know it all and you'll be bored to hear it all again, I'm sure. But yeah, my name's Victoria Taylor. I've been doing nails now probably 17 years on and off. I definitely did not set out in life to end up doing nails. I was very much a tomboy. I'm originally from Cyprus. Yeah, so not even from the UK. So living abroad on a nice sunny island. All I ever wanted to do was join the police force, or I was anything physical, anything that kept me outdoors, busy. I used to train a lot. So when I left school, I came to the UK to study and qualified originally as a personal trainer, fitness instructor. And when I finished that, I went back to Cyprus, back home, and I joined the police force. So I was a police officer for about 4 years on the British bases out there, part of the riot team.
Wow.
Everything. I mean, nails was the last thing on my mind.
Yeah.
Nails was just, I think, a little hobby, pastime. I would do my own nails. I picked up quite easily when I, watched stuff online. I just was self-taught. It's something I did for myself and
A visual
my
learner.
sister, my mum, a couple of friends, maybe occasionally. Yeah. After that, my life changed a little bit. I met my then husband. He was military police, so we met through work. I had my eldest, who was just about 7.5 weeks premature. So I went through all the trauma of all that, and I went back to work. My second day back at work after maternity leave, I was injured in some major riots that happened out there. It kind of makes you reevaluate everything. And obviously my then husband, he was in a job that was dangerous. I was in a job that was dangerous. We had this tiny little, preemie 6-month-old, and it puts a different perspective onto things. And
yeah, definitely. He
then got a posting back to the UK. So it was a matter of, well, what do we do? So it ended up being that I would give up my career and follow him back to the UK so he could continue with his career. Came to the UK, I was literally like a fish out of water.
Yeah.
We were at Catterick Garrison at the time. I felt like I was dropped in the middle of the ocean. I didn't know anybody, didn't know anywhere, couldn't do anything. Within 3 months of being here, he was posted away for 6 months.
Oh, wow.
I think it was Bosnia at the time. No, it wasn't. It was Iraq. Posted to Iraq. And I was just like, now what do I do? So I decided after a bit, the stress of it, it was very difficult to cope with no support, no help. I hadn't even had enough time there to build up friendships or any support around me. So I decided that I would go home to Cyprus and stay with my mum for a little while to have support with the little one and to get through it. So that's what I did. And then while I was there, I dealt with all sorts. There was a couple of traumatic incidents that my ex was involved in at the time, very stressful. Was he going to make it home? Wasn't he going to make it home? I'm still sat there with a 6-month-old, no job, no career, no home really. What would I do?
Yeah.
So it started to make me think about, where do I go from here for some security for myself, in future? like I said, I'd been doing nails just as a bit of a hobby, something to do. And I started to think, oh, hang on a minute, this is quite flexible, can do it anywhere. Language isn't really a barrier. Could work round the little one. So
this is a story that repeats with quite a lot of the people that I'm talking to, this flexibility that this career offers. Yeah.
It was just, it kept me sane.
Yeah.
I always said, without this career, I don't know what I would have done, really. Coming to the UK, it really, apart from the flexibility, it helped me meet people, build up a network of friends, build a life actually around it and from it.
That's amazing.
So yeah, I'm really grateful to have been in the position to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And gradually, as the kids got older, I was needed less and less. You feel a bit redundant as they get more independent.
You do, yeah.
Yeah, as they got older and I had a bit more free time, I then started working in a salon a couple of days a week, because I then had the social side of everything, working with people, not just from at home. Yeah, just built up slowly from that. And then the teaching came along. So that came along that was a client actually got me into that. So I'd always enjoyed training, because obviously I trained as a personal trainer and a coach and that sort of thing. So I love to teach and I'd love to do that anyway. But I had a regular client who used to teach for adult education up in Cumbria. And she kept coming in for treatments and things like that, and people chatting about it. And she kept saying to me, you'd be brilliant at teaching. Why don't you teach? I says, well, I do love teaching. I said, but it's just not something I thought about at this stage, obviously, and what I'm doing. She says, well, we really need somebody to teach for us. How about if I set up the training for you? She says, you pay for your training, but once you've done so many hours of teaching for us, we'll reimburse you the cost of your training and everything. At the time, the money was fantastic.
Yeah, what an amazing opportunity.
With the council. Yeah. So I was like, well, yeah, okay then. I'll do it. So yeah, she set it all up. I started doing my level 4 petals.
Which is the AET now.
Yeah, which is your AET now. They're changing all the names and the formats
just to confuse you just a little bit.
And just to make things complicated. Yeah, God forbid they stick with one name. And so I was training and working and teaching at the same time, which was really good, because I got my training in as well, for the course that I was doing. I was already set up as an educator for adult education up there, plus the, my regular work. It all just it was like a natural evolution sort of thing. I went into it like that.
Did you find that you took to teaching nails better than you had expected? I mean, you said you were working in adult education before. I'm presuming that wasn't necessarily just nails. Did you find that it was a natural progression once you'd been entered into that world to just, it was like, I love doing what I do, I'm gonna pass this on? So yeah, at first I was a little bit daunted about giving it a go, thinking, am I good enough? But I am really good at teaching, but there's better nail techs out there. Not everybody wants to teach or has it in them to teach. My God, I know you need to have patience for it. Something which I didn't think I would have. But yeah, it did just naturally progress, and I didn't think at first, oh God, this will be easy. I can do this, no problem. It was a little bit daunting, but once I'd done it, that was it. I really enjoy it, and that idea of passing something on, especially now at my age, because I don't see myself sitting at a nail desk day in, day out, for years to come. No, I'm the same. I always want to do nails to some extent, because I want to keep my skill set up.
obviously, and keep current with everything, keep on trend, keep my skills up. But obviously I would like the balance now to shift, and it to be a bit more teaching and a little bit less doing. So I hope that's my plan moving forward at the moment. But now I seem to find myself doing everything. So I'm teaching, I'm managing at a salon, I'm self-employed, working, still doing my clients at the salon. It's just I've gone from one extreme to the other.
So let's talk about the salon management. Do you want to tell us a little bit about how and where that came about?
So salon management, so how did that come about? So my life took an unexpected turn. I went through divorce, and of course that's traumatic in itself. Again, I'm still in the UK with no family, no support, no nothing. By this point I've got 2 young children. Both my boys are on the autistic spectrum, so both needed quite a lot of time and care. So, I was at another crossroads. What do I do? Where do I go? How do I do how do I move forward? I met my current husband. Very lucky to have found somebody so supportive, and he really helped me a lot. He was so supportive. So we moved to Sheffield, and I had to start from scratch. So I started working from home a little bit with a few people that I met in the area, and a few people that my husband knew, slowly and gradually trying to build up clients again, just working from home. And then one of my clients mentioned that she'd seen an advert for self-employed opportunities at a big salon in Sheffield. So I thought, give me a couple of days away from home, the social side of things again, meeting people. So I rang up and applied and went for an interview and a trade test, and they snapped me up straight away. So I started working there a couple of days a week. And I think I'd been there about 9 months to about a year. And they basically said, please, can you step in and start managing the nail bar? I said, yeah, okay. I try and keep it a little bit of a secret, although the girls at work are in hysterics with me all the time, because my drawers are so tidy and organized. When they want to borrow something, they literally walk up very tentatively and say, is it okay if I borrow your top coat? I'll say yes and look at them. They know it's killing me inside, the fact that they're taking something out my drawer. And they're like, don't worry, we'll put it back in the exact spot we took it from. And they take it and they fetch it back. So I could literally, with my eyes shut, I can go into my drawer and I know where everything is. So if they've put it back in the wrong place, I know. Then they're in trouble.
So did you take to managing quickly, or was it a bit of a transition? Although you're very organised, was it a bit of a transition? Did you find that it was a different way of working?
And then the workload just got bigger and bigger, because then they wanted me to do a bit of general management across the board. Well, you've got hair, nails, makeup. I think there was about 45 staff at one point. Beauty, self-employed, employed. It was just everything. So at first I said yes, and I did a little bit, but gradually I realised, with juggling everything with work and the kids and home and the teaching and all of that, it was too much. So I kind of stepped back a little bit from doing all that. So I'm still up there. I still manage the nail bar. I still help out a bit, but I don't have, as much of a responsibility on my shoulders. I just can't give the time that it needs. A few years back, I got in contact with a lovely couple who run a shop, the Little Nail Shop, and they were at the time the distributors for Light Elegance. And I was wanting to get into the hard gel and all the rest of it, so I went and did some training with them, I did my bachelor's through them with LE, and apart from the distributors themselves, I was the first educator for them in the UK, which was amazing. We had, amazing little team. It was great. I've been out to America. That was all a great experience. And then gradual progression from then. They've took on a couple of fantastic brands, Bling Line from Sweden and Neo Nail. So I now am an ambassador for them. So I do all their training for Bling Line Hard Gel, Neo Nail, ambassador for the little nail shop. So it's great. Yeah, I do a little bit of everything. Again,
he's like, I'm going to take a step back, but then I'm going to do this other thing.
And then
I'm going to do this other thing, and then I'm going to do this other thing.
And then while I'm doing this, while I'm doing that, I can now do So I'm still at the salon. Self-employed. I do all my clients. I help manage the place. And then I'm an ambassador and educator on behalf of the Little Nail Shop and Bling Line and Neo Nail. And a few months ago, I was approached and asked if I would educate for a new little academy in town.
Oh.
So I said yes to that as well. Because I obviously have
why
a
not?
saying no.
Yeah.
I need to go on a training course. Somebody needs to teach me to say no. So for the last few months I've been teaching level 2 nail services, level 2 nail technology, VTCT courses for the academy as well.
That's absolutely fabulous. Little workaholic. So what do you do to unwind then, Victoria? What do you do as a hobby? What's your little escape?
So I drink I drink copious amounts of Jack Daniels on my time off.
We do like a cocktail, don't we, Victoria, in the sun?
I eat lots of chocolate. A cocktail or two in the sunshine, that's my kind of thing, for sure.
Yeah.
Especially when you fetch it round and it's all prepared.
Just as a backstory, Victoria lives relatively close to me, and during the first lockdown when they started to say you could sit outside somebody's house, I packed some mojitos into a cool bag with glasses and umbrellas and straws. We went and sat outside in the sun drinking mojitos.
I think you had
there was umbrellas.
Well, you had everything.
Oh yeah,
little umbrellas in a little pool box. It was just like, who needs a pub?
Yeah, so the first time in my life I was ever organised. It involved alcohol. So go on, carry on, because I know you do like to be. Jokes aside, you do have quite a, in my opinion, strenuous hobby. You do like to run, don't you?
What I do now I have to say I hated running. So even though I was a qualified fitness instructor, even though I was well into my fitness back in the day before I had my kids, I never, ever, ever liked running. And it's an ongoing joke with a lot of my friends. Even in recent years, when I went back into the gym, a friend of mine opened a CrossFit gym, which was great for me. I loved the weight training. I loved everything about it, but I could not run. So she used to lie to me. If there was a workout on a day and there was running, she would lie to me to make sure that I would still go. So I went low carb and started losing a little bit of weight. We went to the awards.
Yeah. And you look sensational.
A great night.
You did look sensational.
I still didn't feel it. It's funny how we look at thank you. You did too.
Oh,
I think it was it was really great. But I carried on with that, and then lockdown hit, and I was really at a loss at what to do with myself. I'm sure a lot of people felt like that. And I thought, I'm going to have to give something a try. So I'm sure a lot of people tried the Couch to 5K before. And I thought, I'll give it a go and see how I get on with it. I tried it. I went twice, hated it, gave up. Sat back down, had a few more cocktails and a few more JBs, gave it a week or two, and then I thought, I'm going to really have to try this again. I need something. I need to get out the house. I need to de-stress. I need to find a way, to do something. So I started the Couch to 5K again. And within 6-7 weeks, I was running minimum 5K 4 times a week. I don't even know how it happened, really, that I got into it. And now I don't even run with headphones in or anything. All the things that I never thought I'd be able to do, I suddenly find myself doing. I think the furthest I've run, a couple of weeks ago, we ran just over 12K.
Wow.
Me and a friend, I've got a few friends into it with me. I've started almost like a little running club. Everyone's like, I can't believe how well you've done. Help us. I says, all right, then come round. I'll take you running. I'm getting them all into their running.
Yeah.
And we're talking about signing up for a half marathon. I think we're bloody mad.
Yes.
Half marathon. So I don't know.
We're
thinking about it and talking about it.
I have a funny, I always say when people say to me, would you not like to run? And I'm like, no, only run if you're being chased. And even then, check how cute he is before you pick a pace. That's my little joke about why I don't run. But no, I mean,
you and your dodgy knee. I tried to get you to come out running.
No, we don't need no more dislocations. Definitely not. Them kneecaps will stay. If they do come out, it won't be from running. It'll be from getting off the sofa to fetch another glass of wine.
No. Oh no, you've got a husband for that and children for that. Don't get up to get your own drinks.
This is true, and that is literally why I keep him around. So exactly. I've been asking everybody. They've got to have
some uses.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, I've been asking everybody to talk about their dreams when they were growing up, what they wanted to be as a kid. Did you always want to be in the police, or what? Did you have a crazy dream? Like I've said in some other podcasts that I wanted to be. Obviously, you growing up in Cyprus, you won't know this, but there was a cartoon when I was growing up called Pigeon Street. And I wanted to be long distance Clara. She was a long distance.
I have heard of it.
Yeah, she wanted to be. She was a long distance lorry driver. I didn't want to be a long distance lorry driver. I wanted to be long distance Clara. I wanted to be actually her. I didn't want to be. And then the other thing I wanted to be was a marine biologist. Except for I don't like being in deep water and not knowing what's underneath me. And I'm really rubbish at science. So So
that would be a bit difficult for
and then I decided to be a childminder and going to working with children. But when you've got an autoimmune illness, they're quite plaguey kids. They tend to make you ill a lot. So so nails became my natural go-to, because I can sit on my bum all day and it's easy, isn't it? Jokes. So did you have a crazy dream?
Coffee morning.
Yeah, it's just sitting with your mates having a cuppa and painting a few nails. Did you have a crazy dream?
That's what my husband says. I could do that. He says, you just sat there painting nails and having a coffee. Yeah, I'd like to see you come and do my 10-hour shift sat in my chair. Well, not so crazy my dream, but I grew up from a very young age. I loved to dance, so I did ballet, jazz, tap growing up. I went into rhythmic gymnastics. I did that for a long time. I absolutely love to dance. Crazy about dancing, love music, love dancing. But I also like to act. Even though painfully shy and used to get stage fright all the time, I really wanted to be an actress. And I've got a cousin in Canada. He's an actor, director, producer. And I remember going over to visit one summer, and he'd just taken over an old opera house and he was putting on summer seasons of shows.
Oh, wow.
Because I was there for me and my mum went over, we stayed for about a month with family. It was amazing. And every show that he had on, I'd go and sit in the back and watch the show, go to the after show get-togethers with the actors. And when I got back to Cyprus after that trip, I was adamant that was it. That's what I wanted to do. I was going to be an actress. I didn't care about anything else. So I did all my research, went and nailed myself a place at an acting school in Manchester. So I was ready. I was going to leave Cyprus. I was going to come over to the UK, and that's what I was going to do. I was going to do theatre studies in Manchester. That was the dream. And then I talked it through with my traditional Greek Cypriot father and my traditional Greek Cypriot grandmother and family, as the Greek families all get involved, as they do.
Mm-hmm.
And it all went wrong from there, really, because they definitely weren't supportive of that kind of career for a girl at that time. It was all about, no, there's no way you're doing that. It's not a respectable job. It's not a proper job. Where are you going to do that? How are you going to do that? You know, you can go away and study, but you have to come back to your family in Cyprus. It was all very traditional that way. It's not a career. You can't make money. You can't do this. You can't do that. So I was shut down, really. It's very disappointing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't have a lot of choice. And in Cyprus, that's just how it was at that time. So I kind of fell back on my next favorite thing, which was training, being outdoors, you know, the physical education. Yeah. So I said, right, okay, well, if I can't do that, I'll still go abroad. I'll go to the UK, but I'll train to be a trainer, physical education, and hopefully the aim would become to come back to Cyprus and get a job as a PE teacher in a school, or, you know, trainer, something like that. And when I talked to them about that, they thankfully agreed and said, okay, we'll support you doing that. So that's what I ended up doing. I moved to Colchester. I started to train as a fitness instructor. I was working part-time, training part-time. I used to manage a restaurant club. I was a manager at a bit similar to TGI Fridays, but not just the restaurant, a bar. They had a club as well, so you had a DJ every night, music and all that. So I was an assistant manager there for a while. Yeah, I do call myself a bit of a jack of all trades, really, at times. When I think of the variety of things that I've done over the years, I think I could probably turn my hand to just about anything.
Do you feel that passion that you had as a child that of wanting to be an actress has helped you be able to turn your hand? Do you feel that because that was already in you, that ability to take on a persona, or the desire to be able to take on different personas, helped you with the confidence to just go from job to job, not job to job to job, as in, but that you could just easily adapt to a new environment?
I'm a good blagger. I can. I think I can probably. I can adapt to situations really well.
Yeah.
You know, I think even being in the police force, that was good because I could read a situation, adapt, you know, and deal with it accordingly, or change the way I would be in a certain situation. I'm like that. I'm very good with clients and dealing with complaints and things that come up, or different characters. I can easily change the way that I am a little bit to suit the person and suit the situation. And yes, I suppose in a way being able to change like that a little bit and adapt has helped.
A little bit of a social chameleon.
Different things. Yeah, in whatever situation. I'm one of these that I can pretty much get along with just about anybody if I had to.
You are
easily, throw me into any situation, I'll figure it out and I'll make it work.
You are really easy to get along with because you're very compassionate and you're very thoughtful. Just my opinion as a friend, I might be biased. You might just be being nicer to me than everybody else. You might just be being nicer to me than everybody else because she's like, poor Rachel, she's got another idea. Let's just support her. Another one of her crazy ideas.
I do hear a lot from a lot of people that I'm a giver. I'm a helper, supporter. I think giving and doing for others gives me just as much pleasure. You know, I treat people the way I want to be treated. And I hear from others. I'm not tooting my own horn, but
toot away, darling, toot away.
I am, I hope that I'm supportive, all fellow techs, fellow friends, everybody. I do try and help and support people, because I think I've been through some really tough times, and I don't care who it is, what they are. If there's a way that I can help somebody or support them in any way, I will go out of my way to do that. Sometimes to my detriment.
Yeah. Do you find that
I exhaust myself, or I give too much?
Do you find that? Did you ever think that maybe that desire to be supportive and helpful came from the fact that when you wanted support from a family that you love very much, but that you didn't have that support for your dream, that it makes you now want to be supportive of other people when they need help? Or is it a Cypriot thing? Are they just like massively supportive? And
I mean, Cypriot families are very supportive anyway.
Yeah.
Me and my family we're all very, very close. And when they say they're going to support you, and they do support you, they're there 100%. But the fact that I kind of got knocked back with the acting and my original dream and thing that I wanted to do has definitely changed, or has definitely made me different with my kids. If nobody else, all right, it's probably been a bit towards the support, but certainly with my kids now, I'm very much, whatever you want to do, boys, I will support you 100%. Don't care what it is, whatever it is, I am there. I just want you to be happy. It might not earn you megabucks. It might not be, the
socially
biggest career or the what have you. Yes, absolutely. Whatever it is, I will support you and help you do that.
Bit of a mama bear.
I think that is something that has definitely come from that.
Yeah. A lot of people that I've talked to have talked about, and it's very much a buzzword topic at the minute, mental health. Have you found that since you've found running, especially during lockdown, that it's made it so your mental health didn't suffer during that time? Because I know you're quite an active person that does an awful lot of, like you say, lots of jobs, lots of hats that you wear. Have you found that your mental health suffered over the years with all the traumas and the things that you've had to put up with?
I'm sure with everybody, mental health is an issue and has touched pretty much everybody's lives. Mental health for me is a massive part of my life, and it's had a massive impact. My mum suffered with mental health issues for many years. I've suffered from my teenage years. I used to self-harm. I went through depression. And again, in Cyprus growing up, even the word depression or mental health was taboo. You couldn't talk to anybody about it. I couldn't talk to my parents. I couldn't bring it up because it was just something they did not really understand or could have any empathy or, support. If I'd said to my dad, I'm so depressed, or I'm self-harmed, or I can't take it anymore, couldn't even begin to think how he would react. It would have just been shrugged off like, get a grip, it's not even a thing, what are you talking about? So I struggled for many years. It wasn't until I came to the UK and I was studying, and when I hit a patch of really serious sort of anxiety and things like that, I was living in a strange country really for me, dealing with all sorts on my own. I went to the GP and I mentioned it, and all of a sudden there was some support there, or they weren't kind of shrugging me off. And I was like, oh, so I'm not going crazy. It's not just me. There are other people out there that, feel the same. Yeah, on and off over the years with everything that I've been through, divorce, changing careers, backwards, forwards, I have dealt with it up and down. And then with my children, I'm sure I've spoken to you about it, Rach. So Nathaniel, my youngest, the last 2-3 years, has been affected with depression very badly. He was suicidal. it's, yeah, horrific. We slowly seem to be coming out the other end of that. But with COVID and me starting running and getting out, it definitely helps, being a little bit more active, getting out in the fresh air. I've encouraged him to get out with me as well. And for him, it seems to have helped a little bit. And he comes out, we go for a little jog and we chat. And that has really helped me get through lockdown, because as with everybody, I think when you can't work and it's affecting your home life and everything, I could have easily slipped right back to where I was if I hadn't had the running and the supportive network that I've got now, which I didn't have before.
Yeah. Do you find, I mean, quite a few of the people I've spoken to on this podcast, we've talked an awful lot about the advent of social media, and you, like myself, you've been in the industry quite a while, that we've seen how social media has been a negative impact on some nail techs and a positive impact at the same time on people. Do you find that more recently that the industry has started to come together to back each other up, that we're kind of there for each other an awful lot more than in the past?
Definitely. I think it has had its ups and downs, and I still find the industry very cliquey, which is the one thing that I hate about it, because I do think we should all just be supportive of each other, and because that's my character, I suppose. That's who I am. I like to be helpful and supportive. Yeah, so when there's the cliques, that kind of thing, and some of the groups and the forums, I find that I can't allow myself to get involved in them or even speak up at times, because it's a very negative sort of environment. More recently, though, and since lockdown and probably the year running up to that, I have found that nail techs are reaching out a little bit more. They're connecting a little bit more, getting a little bit more supportive. I've made more nail tech friends in the last year and a half than I had done in all the years prior to that.
Me too.
Unless I'd worked physically with somebody, I didn't really build any sort of network. You'd meet a few people on courses and trainers and things like that, but nothing ever stayed or continued through it. But definitely this last year and a half or so, social media definitely has made it easier, and people do definitely seem to be coming together in the industry more and being more supportive and helping each other out more so than before. Yeah,
and I think a lot of what's been happening in the last year and a half, 2 years, is that those that didn't feel like they had a voice before, if somebody sees somebody being negative, that would normally just step away and say, I can't deal with that, they're actually raising their voices now and using, and I've said this on a few people I've spoke to, they're drowning out the negativity with the positive. The positive voices are literally shouting down the negatives and saying, we won't stand for it anymore.
Yeah.
Most of us are in this industry because, either we're isolated because of our job, because a lot of us work from bedrooms and from mobile, etc. We don't have co-workers, and these groups are our co-workers. And the way I think we're getting now, where we're starting to treat each other that way on social media, we're starting to treat each other as, we've got your back. And I've definitely felt very bolstered in the last 2 years by the more positive voices rising to the top and not allowing that negativity to come through, and not allow people to be discouraged. Because I think I noticed a few years ago, when social media first started to be a thing, that some newcomers to the industry were giving up because somebody would make a point about, their work not being very good. And instead of just saying, well, actually, it's only my second set, they were taking it on board and they were just going, I can't do this anymore. If this is what the industry's going to be like, I'm going to leave. Yeah. But I think I felt very much supported, even though I don't involve myself very much. I'm a sitter and a watcher, which is weird because I'm actually, in real life, as you know, I'm not a sitter and a watcher. I'm in the middle having a chat. But when it comes to social media, I'm a sitter, I'm a watcher, and I've very much noticed this very strong support system starting to come through. And I'm starting to see now that this drive to bring the industry forward do you see that can you see that the same thing, I suppose, that I'm seeing is that the industry is definitely starting to become more respected?
Yeah, definitely. It's becoming a little bit more professional. Standards are coming up. It's been lacking for many, many years in our industry. And that's partly why it's just been looked at as something, oh, it's like a hobby. You're sat there just filing nails. It's dead easy. It's, you know, it's not really a career. But the more professional it gets, the higher the standards are, the more regulated. That's partly why I wanted to teach, because when I've been in the salon before, like I've had apprentices come to work for us while they're doing their training at an academy. And they're coming in and say, oh, could you show me or give me advice on doing this 3D design with acrylic? I said, right, okay, so you only started your course a couple of weeks ago. I said, have you done a full set of nails yet? And she says, oh no, we haven't done that yet. I said, so why are you doing 3D acrylic design? Well, she said, she just said to do this nail art stuff first, and then we'll have a look on YouTube for some other training. I'm like, is this seriously the level of education that students are getting going into classes and into colleges and academy? Go and look on YouTube. Ask your salon to show you the odd. I mean, yeah, it's crazy. So no wonder the industry has looked like that and been like that. Now that the expectations are slightly higher and everything's coming up, I think in general, I've learned more probably in the last, 4 or 5 years in the industry than I had done before. And I was always a stickler for educating myself. I can't tell you how much money I've spent on my own training and education over the years. And I will continue to do that throughout to keep my standards up. But I've also found having that connection now with other nail techs and the support from other nail techs, I've learned so much from other people in the industry, and everybody really seems to be stepping up their game. Really are stepping up their game. The stuff that's coming through now is just incredible. I just think there's so much talent out there. I can't draw for toffee. I can't, give me a pen and pencil, a piece of paper. I can maybe draw a matchstick man on paper, but I'm not an artist like that. I cannot draw. I love the more geometric stuff. I do shapes and designs and that sort of thing, but drawing does not come natural to me. So when I see these artists come through that literally use nails as little mini canvases, it's really
mind-blowing, isn't it?
Like, oh my God, I wish I could do that. Yeah, mind-blowing.
Well, Victoria, we have talked about this has been amazing. I've really enjoyed this. I've spoke to so many inspirational people over the last
well, you're not asleep. That's a start.
No, and I've not turned to the wine yet, so you've kept me motivated, kept me captivated without having to turn to alcohol, so you're doing better than most. But thank you so much for talking to us today. Tell everybody where they can find some of your work, where they can if they want to come and speak to you about training.
So on Instagram you can find me as Victoria_nails and training. Everything about everything that I do is on there. If you're based in Sheffield or anywhere near Sheffield, I'm based up at the Nail Bar, at the Style Bar on Ecclesall Road. Again, you can Google that and it'll bring you up, or the details of where that is if you want to come and see me to get your nails done. But my social media, and one of the things I always say to everybody and anybody, people that I meet, other nail techs, students that I do training for, whether you've finished training with me or you haven't done training with me, my DMs are open to everybody. If there's something that you think I might be able to help you with, it's always a pleasure for me to, hear from people. And if I can help in any way, I will always help.
Like a friend who's starting a podcast and can't quite figure out how to use Zoom. Maybe one of those types. One of those emergency calls in the middle of the afternoon with, I've lost everything. Right, let me talk you through how to use Zoom.
I'm
Dumbo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, guys. If you want to talk to Victoria, if you've got
Absolutely.
questions, even if you haven't done training with her, she will be there to talk to you and talk you through stuff. Definitely give her a hit her up if you've got any questions, and definitely booking for some amazing award-winning nails. Victoria, thank you so much for talking to me today, and I will see you as soon as the sun comes back out with a few mojitos.
Thank you for listening to today's episode of Nailtopia Inside with the Insiders. If you have enjoyed it, you can show me your support by heading over to buymeacoffee.com/Nailtopia, where you can help keep me in Yorkshire tea and savvy bee, enabling me to keep chatting to nail industry insiders with the stories you just need to hear. You can also check out what else Nailtopia is about on both Facebook and Instagram.